As we're passing through the jaws here, guys, you'll actually be in the deepest part of the Wisconsin River. On average, the depth of our river is 35 to 55 feet deep, but as we're passing through the jaws, it'll be 108. Also, as you're passing through the jaws, you'll be at the intersection of 4 counties at once: Sauk, Columbia, Adams, and Juneau. Coming up to the right of our vessel, I'll look for a rock formation just ahead that looks like a sack of pancakes. That is known as Chimney Rock. It's named after the stone and mortar chimneys of the early settlers. It's the second most photographed rock formation here in the dells of the Wisconsin River. Yes. Delicious Italian. That looks like the profile of a man's face, with his most prominent feature being his nose. If you go up and down that nose, you'll see 2 slits you can use, his eyes or the mouth, and with just a little bit of imagination, you can use the surrounding trees as a headdress. This is known as Blackhawk's profile. Yards down there, just ahead, you'll see one that is identical to that first rock in terms of size, shape, and vegetation. Now that first rock back there, I like to call her Kate, while Obi likes to call the second one Duplicate. Those 2 rocks are known as the twin sisters, and while we're on the topic of bad jokes here, just so you folks know, cheesy boat jokes, lame river puns, those are all a staple here at Wisconsin Dells Boat Tours. If you folks could just humor us, give us a half-hearted smile, or you could shake your heads in disgust, we've seen plenty of both here. We are now entering the narrowest part of the Wisconsin River here on the Upper Dells, which found that they didn't have the skill required to navigate through the narrows and lost their lives in doing so. This bend of the river was so infamous for all the deaths it caused, it was given the nickname the Devil's Elbow. Now, as you can imagine, lumber companies weren't too fond of that. They were losing a lot of good men and a lot of lumber. So with that in mind, they decided to hire a man by the name of Leroy Gates. Leroy Gates was a standing river pilot, 1849 to 1858. To the left of our vessel at this time, the Leroy Gates inscription.
It's too shady. Can't get it. It's kind of cool.
Now, eventually, the lumber companies shifted all their traffic to the railroads. It was a much safer option for them, but obviously that left Leroy without a job. Leroy loved the Wisconsin River though, didn't want to leave it, so with that in mind, he decided to take his chances in a business venture, and he started the first Wisconsin Dells Boat Tours. As you can see, that business venture was pretty successful. We're still running strong today, but in terms of customer service, we've made some improvements. You see, way back in Leroy's day, if you wanted a tour of our river, you'd show up at Leroy's private dock, you'd hand him 2 quarters, he'd give you 2 oars, then you'd row yourself up and down the Wisconsin River, while Leroy gave you the 8-hour tour from there. Water Canyon, which used to be a 3rd stop on our boat tour. It was a very beautiful nature walk, well worth it, quite the experience. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, we had to cut the walk out. So you see, the walk took about 45 minutes long, so it extended the tour by another hour, making it a 3-hour tour. Alright, a couple people got that one. Always good to see cultured individuals on our boat. Coming up to the right of our vessel here, you folks will see that large triangular rock just ahead. That's known as the Giant Shield. Weighing in at 18 tons, it's a high water marker here in the Dells. And just to give you folks some perspective on how high that water can get, back last fall, the water level was at the top of that shield. Now, here along the Wisconsin River, we do have all manner of aquatic wildlife. Northern pike, sturgeon, carp. We do get the occasional alligator, walleye, smallmouth bass, largemouth bass. You folks look skeptical. But if you look out to the left of our vessel, you'll see an alligator right there, 5 feet above the water, right on top of that rock. Can you folks see that, or wait? Oh, I'm sorry, guys. That wasn't an alligator. That was a crocodile.
Oh, man.
No, but in all seriousness, I do apologize if my jokes do get a little cheesy today. But I am from Wisconsin. Alrighty, I was gonna hit you guys with a third bad boat joke, but I wouldn't want to go overboard on them. So,
Chris, there's no way to do that walking. Not running.
And 20 feet in diameter at the top, and is the rock that made Wisconsin Dells famous. Now, way back in the day, a man by the name of Henry Hamilton Bennett was a pioneer landscape photographer of America. Loved to take pictures of scenery, especially of the Wisconsin River. As the nature of a river would suggest so, it's constantly in motion, and back then it took a camera about 3 to 5 minutes to capture an image. So not really ideal for what he wanted to do. In order to get around this, Bennett invented a device known as the instantaneous camera shutter. It's found in all your cameras today. Rock, a very unique rock formation. They asked him where he took it. He pointed them to the Dells, and the rest is history. That's what Wisconsin Dells was originally famous for, guys. It's not for the water parks you see today, the upside-down houses, or the t-shirt shops. It was all for the natural beauty of our area. Now, obviously, since we don't have Ashley Bennett there and his jumping German Shepherd, now you folks will have 2 opportunities to take a photo. The dog will jump out to Stand Rock and back. It happens pretty fast though, so have your cameras at the ready. I'll give you guys a couple seconds to take those out and get them in position. I'm going to give them the okay signal, so be prepared. You're good? Got a round of applause for Ezra and the dog. Alright guys, a couple of announcements before we get going here. We'll be going right there. Please stay on that trail. There's points in that. Don't deface the rocks. It's a $209 fine. And be back aboard the Marquette at 12.